There's the heat coming out of it. Oh yeah. At least the wind died down for a little bit. Still cold out here though. It's chilly. Ah, much better. Nice. Good morning. Welcome back to Two Turtles Homestead. We are coming up on about a year, I guess, since I'd redone the stove that I picked up from a neighbor for a couple $100, and figured I might take a few quick minutes to address any issues I've had with it and or some comments. And so I guess we'll get started. It's been actually a great stove for a wood shop. And one thing some people have been, I get some comments on, is cleaning the glass. I think just about any wood stove, you're gonna get some schmut up in here, just depending on the wood you're burning. And if you bring the wood closer to this front, you're definitely gonna get it. I generally try to keep it back a little bit. But a quick, easy way to clean the glass is I'll dampen a towel. You just take some of this wood ash, not the real gritty wood ash, but the lighter colored stuff, kind of like that right there. And let me get over here. I can't do that with that arm. Just a damp towel, dip it in a little wood ash, and just go in circles, kind of like this. I don't know if you could see that, but I think I've only done this once since I've used it. But see, that starts coming off of there. It takes a little bit. You got to give it a little rub. You don't have to press real hard. But just to show you, this is just the first wipe. See, it's starting to get that off. And I found it helps to do it 3 or 4 times. You kind of set this on there. A lot of times I don't have water down my shop. I'll keep it a little damper and rub some of this on there, and then I'll let it sit. So I'll do a little bit more. It don't matter if it's dirty. It's gonna be dirty anyhow. But that's pretty damp. We'll just let that sit. You can kind of see it rubbing off of there. It rubs, pretty easy. I'm not pressing real hard. But we'll let that sit there for a minute while I clean out the ashes. And well, like I said, the wood stove, it's been great for the shop down here. Now, one thing I can say, I know the wood stoves, the newer ones, are more efficient, is this stove does burn quite a bit of wood. I know I should have a metal bucket, but all I have is plastic. But there's no embers or anything in here. This is from yesterday. Oh gosh. Yeah, we can get her in there. But the newer stoves are more efficient, I'm sure. And my shop is an 18 by 30. It's just a metal building. It has no insulation. There's a little bit of insulation on the roof, but it's not a thick insulation. It's more for condensation. So, there's single pane windows. The wind blows quite a bit where we're at. And through the roll-up door, you get a lot of wind and stuff in here. I mean, not a heavy wind, but you can feel the cold air coming in around it. And in order for me to keep the shop somewhat warm, where I'm comfortable, I'm usually working out here anyhow, you have to load it up pretty heavy and get a good bed of coals in there. And then the blower kicks on, and it kind of blows. I have this sitting towards the back of the shop, blows towards the big door there. And to be honest with you, it's fine by me. And if you were, if it was in a house or a little building that was insulated, it would be, I don't think you'd have any issues with it at all. But that's just my personal opinion, just from using it for a year. And let's see, what else? Anything else about it? I did notice, and it could be the way I had to run my flue because I didn't want to run it straight out the roof. I had to go up. I'll show it to you in a minute. It has to go up and then it goes out at an angle out through the sidewall and up. So it still draws fine. The draw is great. But when you first start up the stove and that flue and stuff is not real hot, it does have a tendency to get a little smoky. And if you have your doors open, some smoke will roll up out of this front. I've kind of got it figured out now. I'll get a little fire started, which we'll do in a minute, and I'll keep this door closed, and I'll open and close that one. I might leave it cracked here, and it does pretty good. But once it gets hot, the stove gets hot, and the flue and stuff, it gets warm. It draws. It doesn't leak any air. It's just usually it's the only time it does that is when you're first getting your first fire started of the day. So let's see. That's good enough for today. Yep, definitely need a metal bucket, but I'm pretty careful with it. So what else do we have here? Let me finish cleaning the glass. A little squirrely this morning. We'll rub-a-dub-dub this a little bit. Dampen that down. Now, I'm not worried about getting it super clean. Mainly, I just like seeing the fire. I'm down here working all day, and not every day, but when I'm having to do something in the shop, it's nice to be able to see through this glass and you kind of see the fire. It kind of helps warm you up a little bit mentally, But my stove, one of the pieces of glass was broke, so I just have the metal insert that comes with them, and I believe you can still get them on Amazon. So I have the metal insert on one, and this one piece of glass. I'd like to have two. I just didn't want to have to buy it. Not for down here. But so see, I don't know if you can see how much cleaner that is. Now there's some soot around this edges, but I'm not going to be worried about that today. Get those away. I'll be right back. Oh, somebody did ask if you could cook on this stove. And I believe you could if you turn the blower motor down or off. You can turn the blower, it's got a 3-speed blower motor, and you can shut it off to where that blower motor, most of the air blows out right up here, which is blown. There's a little cavity, I guess, in there. So it's taking away a lot of the heat right here on the top. And it does get hot up here. I mean, I usually don't stick my hand up there, but sometimes I do. But I'd say if the blower motor was off, you could cook on it maybe. I couldn't guarantee it, but I would think so. And if you did that, turn the blower motor off and the damper. This is the damper, which closes this off partially or all the way. I mean, there's still a little gap in there, so it'll always draw, but you can kind of adjust your how hot you want your fire with that, and then these little air dampers right here. Now, generally, if I'm down here working, like I said, and it's a cold day, kind of like today, it's low 30s, and we got about a 10, 15 mile an hour wind going. And I'll usually keep these, once I get the fire going, I keep them about halfway. And I chunk the wood to it after I get some coals going. I'll stack it up in here pretty heavy once I get some coals. And it heats the shop fine doing that. And then another thing, because sometimes I forget about the damper. If you leave that open, all the way in is all the way open, and most of your heat will go just right out the chimney. So I guess maybe the first time or two this year when I started it up, I was like, boy, that thing's just not heating like I thought it should. And then I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, I looked over and seen this. I was like, I closed that damper down. It heats probably 3 times, radiates the heat in here 3 times better with this closed down. I usually don't choke it all the way. I go back to the first little notch. There's several little notches, adjustments in that you can see. And that's all the way open. Of course, all the way open when you start your fire. But let's see, we got a few of them things. Let's see. I'll show you here in a minute. Somebody actually commented and asked a really good question. About the rope, this smoke rope that's around it. And I think back in the original video, we, part of it was missing, part of it wasn't, and it had rope here all the way around here. And I don't know if it had any on the doors in here or not. I think it had it here, this little thing, and it come across this bottom. And then there was a piece right here in between the doors. And somebody had commented why I did that. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I think when I cleaned it up, I couldn't remember, and I wasn't smart enough to go back and look at the video that I'd already done it. But I was in a hurry, and we had a lot of stuff going on. And also, at the time I was doing this, there was a lot of supply chain issues at the time due to that big C word, that was going around. And I couldn't find in the paperwork, I couldn't find what size rope it was going to be or was supposed to be in here. So I went to several stores, and I think I actually finally found it at Rule King. They had a couple packages of rope, and I just got the 2 different sizes they had. It's all I could find at the time. And like I said, I didn't go back, and I just put it around the doors and then a little bit right up here to kind of help. You'll see it has a little air gap there, which is fine. But this works fine. So I'm not going to change it. If I ever have to do anything over again, I'll do a little research and get the right size and put back in there around that and up that. But it works really good. So no sense in tearing all that off. I really ain't got the time. Since I'm back at work full time, I don't have the time to do all that stuff. The good thing is it's a wood shop down here. I have plenty of kindling to get stuff started here. So I'll just take a bunch of this miscellaneous odds and ends stuff. We'll get us a fire. You can probably hear that wind's a whipping. Yeah, I can hear it. Ooh, gonna be a cold day. But I'll be nice and toasty down here while I'm working building a couple Murphy beds for the next few hours. We'll let that get going a little bit here. Maybe a couple more pieces before I put on the heavy stuff. But this will get it going here pretty quickly. As you can see, there's no smoke coming out right now. I always start my fire towards the back since I realized when it's cold how that smoke rolls to the front. Now we'll load us up some bigger pieces. See how it's rolling out the front of it right now? That's what it does until it gets warm. See, I'll kind of close that one right there. You can kind of see it hits that top and starts rolling around. And then right now it's staying in there. But you kind of end up with that right there. Make sure them are open. I'll dump one more piece on there, and then I'll show you a couple other things. Then we'll wrap this little quick video up. Then once I get me some coals going, see, that would bother me if that was in a house, that smoke right there. But like I said, I think if it was in a house and the chimney, the flue went straight up, it would draw a little bit better, and it would probably eliminate that. But the paint, somebody asked about what type of paint. I just put on here, I didn't, I was wanting to be pretty economical with it. Because we bought a new stove for the house, and man, them things are through the roof. But literally, yeah, I make myself laugh. But the paint is it's just a high temperature paint, kind of like for a barbecue grill. It was let's see, I don't know if I've got any up there. It was just a Rust-Oleum, just a high temperature flat black paint was all I used. It's held up real well. Now I did just kind of wipe this down real quick because like it's a wood shop and it gets, you can see I get a lot of dust in here. So I'll every once in a while I'll take my blower, blow it off, or just wipe it down. It was pretty thick. And so that was a type of paint. It works good. The fan motor works good in it. Somebody did recommend, there's a shroud on the back of this thing. Of course, I can get to mine. And somebody had mentioned there's a little oil spot to oil the fan motor, which I have not done, which I probably should. But it's working great right now. And right now it is on, but right now it's on the setting, the 3-speed setting, and it will kick on once it hits there's a little temperature sensor. And so the fan will kick on when this hits a certain temperature. And you could put it on high just by going down. You can hear that, and then you can feel, I know you can't see it, but most of the air blows right through here. It blows a little bit here, a little bit. The majority comes across this front. I'm gonna shut that off because that's still a little cool. If I could go outside if I wanted to feel the breeze, is what I'm saying. I bought some sealer, and I don't have the tube. I threw it away. But to seal this duct, oh, it's starting to get warm now. To seal this duct up right here, this came with the stove. That might be a hard piece to find. And anyhow, so yeah, you can see how quick that got going. It's starting to warm up. See, let me open it up real quick. It's not warm out here yet. Now, when you open it up slow because it lets a lot of air in there, and you don't want embers to fly out. That's just about with any wood stove. So yeah, you can kind of hear it roaring in there. So while that's going good, you see a little bit of puff of smoke. I'm gonna bound this up in here so we can get it going. Like I said, I just kind of throw it to the back. And I would say, yeah, popping and cracking. I would say this will probably burn down about 40 minutes. There'll be some good coals in there, and I'll stack some more stuff on there. The fan will kick on here in probably about another 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll damper it down just a little bit. I'm actually gonna close this off a little. That's all the way closed. Go back a couple notches. Help hold that heat right here. We'll get going on that. But I'll get you turned around and just kind of do a quick peek, and really that's about it. It's been a great stove. I'm not complaining at all for a shop. And like I said before, I'm probably rambling at this point. My shop is not airtight. I'm looking back there right now at my roll-up door, and I can see daylight coming all the way around it, 10 or 8 foot up. Or just kind of, and that wind just whips through there. And you can't, but if this was insulated, you could probably burn half the wood, because it does burn a lot of wood to keep it very comfortable in here, where I don't have to wear my jacket. Just looking at it makes you warm. I'll do a quick turnaround, show you any ins and outs, and I'm going to show you this stuff that I was talking about that I got that I think was bad. The duct sealer stuff. But I'm a rambling man. Okay, see, we got the nice little fire going in there. See, it would probably just feel warmer in here if if that wasn't metal and I could see it. It's just a mental thing. There's the rope stuff I was talking about. That just kind of helped seal that off. You can kind of see right down in there where that's probably me. I didn't do a good job, but it gets a little air in there. Like I said, it works great. But my setup, yeah, that was a 4x10, and then a piece of pipe right there that goes 10 to 8. And then I went 8 to 6. I couldn't find a lot of this stuff at the time. Just with all everything going on. But I did have some duct sealer, and I'll show you right here. It right in here, I had this stuff sealed with whatever stuff I ordered off the interweb, off the Amazon. And it came in a little tube. You know, you kind of squeeze it out and went in there. And I squished it all around. And when I put it on, I was like, the consistency doesn't feel quite right. And I think what it was either old or bad. It went on there okay, and I thought it was going to be fine. And now, over a year's time, this has gone bad. And it doesn't smoke bad. You can't really smell it or see it, but I have noticed a little discoloration from some smoke getting in here, especially when I close that damper down. See, it breaks free. So that's the one thing I need to redo. And I put this same stuff on the outside of the pipe out there. There's an elbow here, and then there's another elbow that goes up. So that stuff not being good is actually the way this setup is. Well, you could see a little drip of water right there. I sealed the outside of that on the outside, and that stuff is broke loose. So I'm gonna get some high temperature silicone that'll stay a little more flexible. That's what that was supposed to be, but it was a little gritty and it turned really hard, but that was it. I think that's the only issue I really had with it. For $200, you can't beat it. And I did have somebody comment. They said I could just go buy a brand new stove for $200 at Menards. And hey, if you can find a stove this size with a blower motor that heats as good as this one, which is fine for what we're doing. You know, it's an 80s model or late 70s or 80s model. If you could find a new one for $200, you better get it, is all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say about that. Well, thanks for watching. I hope if there's any tips, it was helpful. Let me show you. I guess, in the video, now I'm thinking about it, where I took them little brass knobs this thing came with. Got some little brass knobs there. Those are starting to dingy up a little bit finally. But they're starting to get warm. You can still touch them, but you can feel the heat radiating. And apparently, the guy I bought this stove from had said he'd done some research on it. And he said a lot of these wood stoves were made, this particular Buck brand or whatever it is, were made to, you could bring them in the house, and set them in the middle of the room. But a lot of them, they were also made to where they'd fit in some old fireplaces. And they would use this for an insert. And then where these screws are, there was some metal bracketry, I guess, for the heat that would attach to the insert, the fireplace insert that you would do. So you could do either one, and you could get another little shroud thing that would go around it, or you just stone up to it or something. But that's why those are there, I figured out. 'Cause I was wondering why it was there. But it's kind of cute. Kind of makes you want to take a rope or something, or extension cord, since I'm a construction guy. It almost makes me want to wrap extension cords around it. But I know I ain't going to do it. All right, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. It is what it is. It's a $200 stove. 40 years old? 30, whatever, 20, 30, yeah, 30 something years old. It works fine. Metal shop, 18x30. It keeps it comfortable enough to work. You just have to have you plenty of firewood to keep it stoked up. So I'm sitting here, I've already said it, but I'm looking at the light around there, and I can actually feel a little bit of a breeze where I'm standing right now because it's so windy outside. I can feel a little bit of a breeze blowing up my skirt. So, and I'm toasty, and that'll kick on in a minute, and I'll be even toastier. All right, thanks for watching. I got to get to work. Gonna be a Murphy bed. I've already built one. Got all pieces cut. It's almost ready to put together. We'll see you. Thank you. Oh, and if you want, give me a comment. If I missed something, like, share, and subscribe if you want to. And if you don't, that's cool too. We'll see you.